Well, hello, I am Lady Pat, and welcome to Unfiltered Tea with Lady Pat. And today I'm just so excited. I have four ladies with me, my guests, which is also spiritual daughters. I'm a mentor to some. We're just going to have a good time on today. So I have with me Lakeisha, I have Selena, I have Gabby, and I have Gwen. And I trust that you will enjoy this program on today. Let's get ready. Well, as being a daughter, when I was a little girl, my biological mother, she passed, I think I was about in the third or fourth grade when she passed. So as being really a daughter, really getting to know my mother, I didn't really get that opportunity because she was sick a lot. But I do remember one time my biological mom, she went to church, and when she came back, when she went, she was bent over, and when she came back, she was standing up straight. That made me see something then to know something about God. So I would say that she did help me with that. Then God blessed me with a foster mother that was already saved, a born-again believer, and that helped me. And I saw her the way that she was as being a mother, being that example to me. So I saw how she was, and I wanted to be like that. So when God blessed me with kids, with a daughter, I knew how to carry myself as a mother to be able to help. And also spiritual daughters, I know how to carry myself to be that light before them, to be that spiritual mother to them, to help them in different areas of their lives, as well as my daughter and my granddaughters as well.
What type of relationships do you see mothers having with their sons and daughters in today's world?
I think it's too relaxed. Like, honestly, I feel like people are, and I don't know where it got lost, but just like people are just letting their kids do whatever they want. And so kids are fighting back, like they'll be talking back at their parents. Like, I saw this video the other day, and it was like the mom had asked the daughter to wash the dishes and take the chicken out the freezer, which we've all been there before. And the girl didn't do it. And the mom was obviously upset. She just came home from work. She's upset about it. And the daughter's like, well, you didn't say what time. Like, well, if you had told me at what time I should have done it, then it would have gotten done. But ultimately, it was your fault that it didn't get done. And just watching that, it's like, if I was that mom, like, I would have kind of lost it. And yeah, that just, like, I don't even know what to say to that anymore, but that's the thing, like, parents are too relaxed. They're like, oh, it's funny if he talks back, it's funny if she talks back, or if she's doing certain things. Same thing happens whenever like moms think that it's funny for their daughters to start twerking and doing stuff like, oh, she's just dancing, she's being funny. It's funny in the moment, but that carries on
Right.
to when they're 15, 16, and then you're like, oh, she got pregnant at 12. Like, how did that happen?
Obstáculos que he tenido siendo mujer han sido cómo combatir el machismo. Como latinas, nosotras hemos sido criadas, para ser madres, para poder cuidar un hogar. Y ha sido algo que mucha gente pone en nosotros para ponernos esa presión. Y en la realidad nosotros tenemos mucho valor y nosotros tenemos que reconocer eso y no dejar que cualquiera nos meta o que nos dé sus opiniones en cosas que ellos no conocen, que no reconocen el valor de la mujer. Es muy importante saber que nosotras tenemos mucho que dar y el machismo ha sido algo puesto por los hombres, que es algo que Dios no intencionó para nosotras. Nosotras no somos esclavos.
And moms have to make sure that they're not letting their kids do different things like that, because you don't know what pervert is around. And so what you do what you let your kids do when they're small, eventually they're going to grow up and do the same thing. And another thing, parents cannot be friends. They need to mother their kids, and it starts at a young age. And when you mother your child from a young age and let them know this is the respect I demand, I believe that when they grow up, they will remember that. and they can carry that, down the line with them. So when they have kids, they teach. As mothers, we ought to teach our kids. And when they get older, they'll understand this is what mom has said when I was little, and they can carry that on in life.
Yes, they want to do what's trending.
Yes.
Today's time is like Pastor Pat said, they want to be their children's friend. And then I don't know exactly what it's called, but I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and the little boy in the store wanted the chips, and the mother was telling him, "Well, no, Johnny, you already had your snack, da da da," and so he's having a fit, and he wanted the chips. Well, when I was coming up, if I would have threw
Yeah.
he would have said no, I would have just left it alone. But if
That's
I'd have kept
right.
going on, it would have been disciplined right then and
Right
there.
in the spirit.
And that's what the problem is, because the first thing they want to do is say, "Oh, she's abusing her child." And it's not child abuse; it's correction.
That's right.
From the police having to correct it.
That's
when
right.
you don't.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, being a woman, it just means being who you are, being the woman that God created you to be. Being strong. And just a woman who knows who she is, knows her mind. So yeah. Oh wow, just in the workforce, really, just being out there. Paving the way for myself and my family, overcoming the inferiors of men, and just having that confidence. I had to overcome a lot of things with that confidence, building up that confidence to overcome it. So,
like for me, more people they see their kids and like, oh, well, I want them to be themselves. Yes, they can be themselves, but at the same time, you have to be able to show them where to, like, the footsteps to follow.
Yes.
And not, oh, well, mom is out partying every day and my daughter's dancing to this music, like you said.
Yeah.
And, oh, well, I want her to be herself. Well, she's not being herself because she's looking at what you're doing. And, like, with my daughter, I'm like, I know how I was raised. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's breaking generational curses. I was raised a certain way. I want my daughter to be raised a certain way. Of course, I adjust things,
Yes.
but I'm not going to go off and just go, oh, well, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's not how that
And I think that's like our job as a parent is like we see how we were raised and us to better that. Like, and we want our kids to better us, like I think that's the way it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to stay just in one place like that.
And sometimes, I've seen different cases where parents are just so adamant about being their child's friend. They don't want them to be mad at them.
Yes.
And so here, let me cater to their every need. But then when you sit there and you do that and you end up raising somebody that other people don't want to be around because they lack discipline, because you're afraid to discipline them. It causes so many more issues as they get older, but it's not the child to blame. It's the parent. Yes. And so, you see that a lot in the store. I remember being at the store one time, and this lady, she couldn't get her child to, and he looked like he was about maybe 2, 3, but she couldn't get him to behave in a sense, and her resolve was, hey, you better stop or I'm going to call Santa. And she starts calling, hey, I have him on speed dial and start, but that really didn't do anything. So it's like, if that's what your discipline method is, so it's just parents doing, saying, you know what, I'm going to raise them right.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with discipline and correction, because that discipline is actually love. That is showing love, not giving them everything they want just to to prevent them from being mad at you. No. Discipline is a form of love, of showing love. Hey, I don't want you to end this way. I end up this way. I don't want. So if more parents would do that, children would be much better.
And I saw on Facebook this young girl, she was about 9, and this was with a grandmother. And she went in the store, and she was kicking the flowers over and just doing so many things. And then, trying to go at her grandmother kicking. And I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, my Lord. Because I know we wouldn't have ever that wouldn't even enter into our mind when we were young like that, So I really believe that if mothers would go off of what their mother did, how their mother raised them, and how, you know, the grandmother raised, because a lot of times grandmothers are raising kids as well. You know, they're kids, they're also raising them. So if they would go off of that and break the generational curse, because it is a curse, because if this one did it, then that one do it, and then everybody in the family do it, that's a generational curse that need to be broken. And so when we just really get ourselves together, and I think the most important thing, the key is getting prayer back into the homes. When we get prayer back into the home, and I always like to encourage parents, pray over your children before they go to school and have that prayer going on in the home. They may be asleep when our kids was little. I'm telling you, we would be praying and they fall asleep. We said, that's okay, let them sleep, because when we are praying, the seeds that we were sowing, it was getting into them, going into them anyway.
Well, you know, and another thing too, though, because I wasn't raised in the church. But, my mom had, you know, good values that she stood by.
Yes.
But my thing is, even if you have a parent or a guardian who is not raising you correctly, you know, because I even told my children this, at your adult stage with your children, if there was something that you didn't like that I was doing,
Yes.
and you knew you didn't like that, then don't implement that in
Right,
the lifestyle
right.
of your children,
That's
raising your
right,
children.
yes.
You take it and do something better,
Being an
because there's no
example.
perfect parent.
Right.
You know, you take your parents' good things,
Yeah.
and then you just start implementing it in your life and the lifestyle of your children and how you
That's
raise
right.
them. and
Yeah.
everything. But anything that you see from your parents that you didn't like, that you don't like, don't take it over.
Right.
You
That's
think, okay, I didn't like this. My mom didn't talk to me when I was a young girl, so I'm gonna talk to my children.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
things they need to know.
They
Yeah.
need to know.
So you gotta just get that balance. You know, your parents aren't perfect.
Right,
You
right.
know?
Yeah.
So you take their imperfections and you grow on that.
Right, right.
And not,
Yeah.
and not only daughters, but sons as well. You know, the sons, because now when this was just funny to me. When our kids was growing up, and you know, with the sons and stuff like that, you know, you have your boys. So when your dad, their dad is disciplining them, you know, sometimes I'd be looking like with pitiful eyes, you know. But you can't do that, because when you do that, you make them soft. And so my husband raised our sons to be men. To be strong men, to be men that love themselves, and to be men that love a woman, not to ever hit a woman. And I think where a lot of that comes from is when a son sees his dad doing that to a woman. Or if a brother see his brother, or uncle see his uncle, that's a generational curse too. And you just have to decide. It can be all men in that family that was just really, really bad, but you can make a decision, say, I choose to do different. I choose, everything is a choice. And so when we have that in the homes, because the men is the one that set it, they're the head. And us as women, as being the mothers, we are to pray. Pray for our men, pray for our sons, pray for our daughters. When we instill that on the inside of them, they may go off, like the Word of God says, but they will someday, they will come back. All we got to do is believe.
Being a woman, not only just a woman, but a mixed breed, or what people call a mixed breed, being black and white, being what people see on the outside as being white, and being raised with a completely black family, it's been an obstacle, because black women already have trouble with life in general, but people see me as privileged because of my skin color and not knowing me and how I was raised. The difference between being a mother and a daughter would be that a mother has more responsibility, and as a daughter, you have to be able to listen, and the mother has to be able to show the daughter the life that she needs to live, be an example for her, and show her that she needs Jesus in her life, and that as far as like, and then a daughter, with me having my own daughter, it's like I try to show her what I know and not what I learned growing up with my mother.
Thank you for joining us on today. I would like to encourage you to join us tomorrow. You will be glad you did. We're excited, mothers, daughters, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, I encourage you to come out and be a part of our Mother's Day service. You will be glad you did. Looking forward to seeing you. Have a blessed day.